Hi everybody and welcome to today's writing lesson. So for today's writing, you need to draw and label a picture if you lived under the sea or under the water, and you need to talk about what you could see and hear. You need to write 2 or 3 sentences about what you can see and what you can hear. You might like to start your writing with, if I lived under the sea or under the water, and then you need to finish that sentence. And yes, the grids do look different to our booklets. We haven't had a grid like this since week 1. We're using this grid for week 10 as we're nearly at the school holidays. And remembering, a good writer always plans their message first out loud. They always use finger spaces between words. A good writer always rereads to check that their message makes sense and looks right. And a good writer always uses words from either your PM books at home, maybe words around the house, in magazines or on the fridge. And you also have your word mat that you have been using all year. Our learning intention is we are learning to write interesting sentences for a purpose. And to be successful and to achieve that goal, we need to name the purpose of our writing, use interesting language to suit that purpose, and use correct punctuation so that our writing makes sense. My purpose for today is going to be informing you, so Year 1 students, what my life would be like if I lived under the sea. Okay, happy writing! So good writers always draw pictures first to help them plan their message. So I've drawn my picture and I was thinking, if I lived under the sea, I would love to be a mermaid. So I drew myself as a mermaid. And I have my right hair of my hair blue. Now to you it looks like it's the left side, but remember that we're facing the front of someone, and when we're facing the front of them, our lefts and rights are opposite. Okay, so it is my right side of my hair, even though you can see it as the left side. And the left side of my hair is pink. And then I've got some beautiful sea creatures swimming around under the sea. And quite often I like to swim over the sea creatures. And I've got a clam, which is usually filled with pearls. And that's where I sleep. I sleep between the clam. Okay, got some coral, all sorts of things. Now, I was thinking about our maths focus for the week, and we have been learning about position. So I was thinking we could use some positional language in our writing today. Because when we describe something, it helps to use positional language to help the reader understand exactly where things are in the story. It gives a better picture in their mind. So I brainstormed some words that we did in Rosie's walk in that lesson. Under, over, left, right, between. So I'm going to put these to the side, and then we could use these in our writing to help describe what's going on in the story or in my writing. Okay, I'm going to plan my first sentence out loud because that's what good writers do. So I'm going to say, if I lived under the sea, I would be mermaids are mythical, okay? They're not real. So I'm going to say mythical, which is like magical. So mythical mermaid. Capital letter for the start of my sentence. If I lived under. Oh, under. Look, that's a position word. I'm actually going to write it in a different color to show that we're using positional language. Under the sea. Now I'm using a comma because I'm joining two ideas together. I'm having a short break, two ideas. If I lived under the sea, I would be a mythical. Oh, what an interesting word. We're thinking about our purpose and our audience and using interesting words. A mythical mermaid. End of my sentence, so I need a full stop. Okay, my next sentence. I'm going to plan it out loud. Oh, I'm going to talk about my crazy hair. And I know that we said on the right side of my hair, it would be blue, and on the left side, it would be pink. Oh, look. Left and right. We're using more position words. My next sentence. The right side of my hair would be blue. The right would be blue, connecting two ideas, because then we've got to talk about the pink side. And the left side oh, I didn't write left in red. It's a position word. Aren't we clever? And the left side would be pink. Full stop at the end of my sentence. Okay, I'm going to reread it so far because good writers always reread even if they're not finished, just to see what might come next. If I lived under the sea, I would be a mythical mermaid. The right side of my hair would be blue and the left side would be pink. And it's matching the picture as well. My next sentence. Let's think about all these sea creatures. I would swim over all the sea creatures. That's a good sentence, but I could bump it up by adding a more interesting word so it engages my audience. So how about I would swim over all the magnificent sea creatures. We're describing the sea creatures. Okay. I would swim over. Positional language. Over all the magnificent sea creatures. And I'm even really excited about that one. It's magnificent. So I'm going to use an exclamation mark to put feelings and excitement in that sentence. My next sentence, I think I'm going to talk about the clam here because we haven't spoken about the clam, which is where she sleeps. She sleeps between the clam. Between. That's a position word. I could sleep between a clam. And a clam, we said, is usually full of pearls, and that sounds nice in my writing, so I'm going to write that. I could sleep between a clam full of pearls. Full stop at the end of my sentence. I also got that idea from the movie The Little Mermaid. Sometimes we use ideas from other books or movies that we know to help us with our writing. I'm going to reread to check that it makes sense. If I lived under the sea, I would be a mythical mermaid. The right side of my hair would be blue, and the left side would be pink. I would swim over all the magnificent sea creatures. I could sleep between a clam full of pearls. Yes, it makes sense. It looks right. We've used position words, and now I'm going to check that we have punctuation and if we've been successful with our punctuation. Okay, capital letter, tick, comma, tick, capital letters, and capital letters here. Going back to that comma now. Got a comma here when I was joining two sentences together. Perfect. And I've got full stops at the end of my sentence or other sentence boundary punctuation like an exclamation mark. Okay. We've been successful. We have correct punctuation so it makes sense. And we have interesting language to engage the reader. We have mythical, we have magnificent, and I might even underline pearls. That's an interesting word, pearls. We've been successful today. Good job. I wonder what you're going to write about today. You might like to write about what you would do if you lived under the sea. Or maybe you're going to write about something different, like if you lived in space. Or if you lived in the clouds. It's up to you. Happy writing.